Hello, everyone. On today's IRS Tax Refund update, we have the latest report from the IRS on the current tax return backlog that is still remaining. So we'll take a look at that, as well as an update on those amended tax return numbers. And for those of you still waiting on your employer's returns to be processed. Meanwhile, the latest batch of tax refunds has been issued, so we'll check in on that, as well as additional reports of reduced tax refunds from a number of our viewers after months of waiting, and a recap of some of those tax transcript codes. Now, taking a look at the latest figures from the IRS, which now have the backlog down to 3.1 million unprocessed tax returns. Now, we finally did see a decrease of 100,000 e file returns and those requiring special processing last week to now 1.6 million remaining. However, we saw no decrease of the paper tax return backlog, which remains at 1.5 million. Now, back on November 4th, the backlog was at 4.2 million. So, in the last 5 weeks, we've seen roughly 1.1 million returns processed. For those of you still waiting on your tax returns to be processed and refunds to be issued, we do know this backlog will now carry over into January, but after the start of the next tax season, which we anticipate to be either the third or fourth week of January. The IRS has yet to publish the official start date yet, but it appears we'll see some of the backlog also carry over into February at this point. Now, for our viewers still waiting on their amended returns to be processed, we did see another 100,000 amended returns processed in the last week and cleared from the backlog, dropping the total remaining down to 700,000. The IRS is processing these extremely slow, at a rate about of 200,000 amended returns have been completed in the last month. If the current trend continues, the IRS is not set to complete those until possibly April. If you're one of those still waiting on their taxes to be processed because the IRS has yet to process your employer's tax returns, good news as we saw the IRS process 500,000 employer returns from the week prior, dropping the total of unprocessed employer returns to 1.2 million. Now, back on November 11th, the total unprocessed remaining was 3.2 million, so significant progress in just the last month. Also, there are 328,000 unprocessed employer amended returns remaining as of this recording. Moving on to those tax refunds, as the next batch of direct deposit refunds has been released and transmitted to bank accounts of taxpayers who are part of the December 14th batch. Do allow up until December 19th to receive that in your account. Meanwhile, the next batch of paper checks is scheduled to be mailed out on December 16th, and do allow 7 to 10 business days to receive that if you're part of the paper batch. To confirm if you're part of these latest batches, make sure to check your tax transcripts for the most up-to-date information. Now, as more of our viewers report they are finally receiving their tax refunds, we continue to hear additional reports of reduced refunds, sometimes so significant that the taxpayer now owes the IRS. The three major factors why this may be happening to you is one, as a result of an incorrect amount of child tax credit payments received listed on your tax return; two, claiming the recovery rebate credit when the IRS shows you received that latest stimulus payment; or three, a past due obligation such as past due child support. In the case of the recovery rebate credit, if the IRS is rejecting your claim on the credit indicating you've already received that stimulus payment, you will need to initiate a payment trace with the IRS so they can investigate what happened to that payment, as it may have been sent to a closed bank account or an old mailing address on file. If you're seeing codes 424 or 420 on your tax transcripts with a 2022 date, do be prepared for additional delays, as code 424 signifies your tax return has been set aside for further examination, while code 420 indicates you're under audit and to expect further documentation from the IRS, such as a documentation request to lift the audit. Once the audit is complete, you will see code 421, audit closed, listed on your tax transcript. Let us know in the comment section below about your ongoing tax issue, and if you plan to do anything differently this upcoming tax season compared to the last one. Thank you to everyone who has posted in the comments section below. In the meantime, we will keep monitoring the situation for further developments, so make sure to click on the thumbs up and subscribe button below for future updates on this channel, and thanks for watching.